We are not yet in the age of Aquarius. We are still in the age of Pisces. Now, what determines the age is the new year. And I'm not talking about the Gregorian calendar. I'm talking about the astrological calendar, the astronomical calendar. And the new year is the spring equinox. So whatever constellation the sun is in during the spring equinox will determine the age. And the transference of ages from Pisces to Aquarius is a very transformational time. The last time we had a shift from the age of Aries into the age of Pisces was during Jesus Christ's time, Christ consciousness. That's why this whole story of Jesus is about ushering in Christ consciousness. That is why Jesus is a symbol for Pisces. I mean, the story of Jesus with the 2 fish and feeding thousands with just 2 fish and 2 loaves of bread, but the fish is a symbol for Jesus. And this is because this fish symbol is actually for those with eyes to see and ears to hear, the Vesica Pisces. You see this? Tell me you see this. That is because it represents the ushering in of a new age. And that's what we are entering into now, the end of the Piscean age, and into that. Before Jesus was the age of Aries. That's why all of the Israelites were all about the ram horn. The whole entire Old Testament, they all about that ram horn, because it's to symbolize that at that time was the age of Aries, the building up of the reasoning mind. And now we are moving into spiritual intuitive man. But before that was the age of Taurus, the grounding, the foundation of life. That's why everything from Moses and before, because Moses was the transitional time of Taurus moving into Aries. That's why he came down after they came out of the Egypt. He came down and they were worshiping the calf. He got mad and threw the tablets down. Said, no, we are no longer worshiping the calf. We are now in the age of Aries. And so what does that mean for you? It means now is a very transformational time, a transitional time. There is more energy on the planet today than any day the day before. Every single day there's more energy on the planet because we are ushering in the golden consciousness. And that's what you need to usher in for yourself. Don't worry about any other people. Don't worry about people outside of yourself. Make sure you are working on yourself, ushering in the golden consciousness. Others will be affected by your own elevation and your frequency enhancement and evolution. The reason we have more energy available is because we are now finally, over the last 200 something years, moving closer and closer to the center of the galaxy. Our planets rotate around the sun, but it's not like the sun is fixed and they're just spinning around. The sun is moving through the galaxy and we are following past it because the sun is also orbiting around a planet. And we are no longer getting further and further away from the center of the galaxy. During the Dark Ages is what it was called by the Europeans, but it was called the Kali Yuga in the Vedas. And so now we are no longer the furthest away. We're starting to get closer and closer. So there's more and more energy on the planet every single day. Now, if you go learn about the yugas, you could probably find out a lot of different calculations from a lot of different people. Some people say we're still in the Kali Yuga. That is not true. But I would trust the calculations of this man over anyone else ever on the history of the planet. This is Sri Yukteswar. And if you know who he is, you know why I said that. If you don't, find out. First place you can find out is through his book, The Holy Science, where he talks about the Kali Yuga and the different yugas and the evolution of consciousness and the age that we are moving into. And you can see here that from the present, where we are at now, we are out of the Kali Yuga and we are moving back into the Dwapara Yuga, which means we are getting closer and closer to the golden age. You know what I mean? To the age of golden consciousness. And we are moving closer and closer to the center of the galaxy. We are no longer getting further and further away, no longer descending. We are now ascending. And we not only will feel that physically, but we will feel it spiritually as well. And I'm sure that you can attest to that because you can see more and more people waking up, your own consciousness growing more and more, your own intuitive abilities naturally ascending more and more, whether you're putting in work or not. But if you are putting in work, then you know you floating down that river, boy. Now, if we look close, we can see the same calculations that if we look at the stars on this spring equinox coming up, we can see where the sun is at, that it is still within the age of Pisces. And we still got another about 200 years before we cross that over. Just like when we move from Aquarius into Pisces like we just did, it's that cusper energy. You got a little bit of energy of both. So we got a little bit of Aquarian energy, but it is nowhere near like what we're going to experience when we fully get into the age of information, the age of Aquarius. That that is when we will truly unlock those intuitive abilities and really ascend. The age of information isn't about access to information externally. You know what I mean? I know it feels that way because we have, these phones at our fingertips. AI now, the artificial intelligence has kind of replaced Google and search engines, and we can access all type of information. But this is all external access to information. The true Aquarian age is going to be the internal access of information. Because you don't need a telephone to communicate. You can increase your telepathic abilities and communicate with anyone and anything. You don't need the screen to produce images for you. You can do that within your own mind. You don't need the cars and trains and planes to travel anywhere. You can project out of your body and send your consciousness anywhere in this physical plane and anywhere within the astral planes, in the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension, the spiritual planes. Okay? You don't need the technology to do these things. You can do them yourself. You don't need the Google and the artificial intelligence to find answers. If you go within, you can discover the answer to any question that your mind can possibly form. Do not just believe anyone. There is some Aquarian energy, but we are still in the Piscean age. But since we are coming to the end of an age, there's a detox that needs to happen. The Piscean age is all about duality, the inner and the outer, the feminine and the masculine, the aggressive and the receptive, the female and the male, the poor and the rich, the black and the white, the left and the right. There are all these toxic attributes to our society that we are now purging out. Our collective consciousness as a planet, there is a lot of purging. Just like if you do a detox in your body, this whole time you've been carrying the toxins around just fine. You know what I mean? You might have been fatigued and things, but you wasn't feeling real sick until you started to detox. Then you got real sick. Then you started to see the symptoms coming to the surface as you release those toxins. That's what's happening socially. So you have to maintain your awareness of what's going on so you can best navigate things. And don't worry so much on affecting things outside of yourself. Worry about your own growth, your own evolution, and your own consciousness and what you're producing. So remember,